Hello, and thank you for joining Frank Talks After Dark. Now, this platform is your one-stop hub for red-hot talks and lively debates, all about relationships, romance, reuniting, and we want to give you resolutions. Now, with traditional family structures shifting, especially in the Black community, the hunger for what I would consider strong connections is on the rise. Now, in a world where swiping right and scrolling reign supreme, it's time to dive into conversations that I believe can guide love seekers and fun lovers alike. Well, let's let the heart-to-heart sessions begin here tonight on Frank Talks After Dark. All right. Again, I want to thank you for joining Frank Talks After Dark for this discussion. And as I mentioned earlier, I want to start this show tonight discussing a recent post that a popular social media Facebook personality posted on Facebook. Now, this young lady, Nico Sherry. Now, let's see what Miss Sherry had to say, shall we? Now, this post reads, "To my ladies over 40, let me talk to you for a minute. Listen, sis, you are not in competition with women half your age for men our age, because we are dating these men's hard-bodied, fine blank sons," in my Drea voice. On another note, don't worry about marriage, because they aren't marrying 20-year-old women either. Just giving them babies and worms. Excuse me. Good morning, rich Auntie Nico. All right, I was struggling reading that, so my apologies. Now listen, guys, now that we've read the post, like many who read that post on Facebook, there were many immediate questions in which Miss Cherie had to provide a follow-up to add more context. And so she shared, and this is just more context that she wanted to add. She says, "Ladies, all I am saying is stop letting these men tear at your confidence." A neighboring car revs its engine, and then it accelerates as soon as the light changes, positioning itself ahead of you as if in a race that you never agreed to. Now, despite your non-participation, the outcome still reflects that you, my friend, have lost. Now, this analogy parallels the dating scene for many women. Opting out of the competition, hear me close, my ladies that are watching tonight. Opting out of the competition does not guarantee that others will do the same. Now, let me ask the question out here of my fellows. Are you aiming to be, as she quoted there in her post, someone who aims to crush the confidence of women? Are you that type of person? If you are, shame on you. I'm definitely not on board with the idea that putting women down is the way to go when expressing your preferences. So you don't have to tear someone down in order to explain what it is that you feel about women. Now, there are some guys out here, ladies, that seem to believe that they're the only fish in the sea. I get that. I know a few. But just a heads up to the women over 40. Younger women are also seeking partners who make them feel like they're on cloud nine emotionally, mentally, and physically. So again, just because you aren't competing does not mean that they aren't competing. And if you aren't competing in the game that they're playing, that means you're losing. Listen, I'm just spreading the love here, not the negativity. Now, this is not to say that women over 40 hit the wall, as they say here in Black YouTube. But I do believe that there is someone for everyone, no matter the age. However, simply believing you can do something because someone else can do it, in my humble opinion, is not wise. Now, I don't want to be anecdotal here, but let me give you an example. So recently, I was in the gym for the first time in years. And, there were a lot of young guys there, but there was this young guy in particular beside me doing a few dumbbell presses. And you know what? I began to recall the time when I was able to do the same until I heard the thump of the weights when he dropped them to the floor. It was then that I realized that this young man, was using 100-pound dumbbells, whereas the last time I did the same exercise, my max was about 90 pounds. Now, this experience highlighted the intricacies and individual nuances involved in various tasks. So cautioning against assuming one's capabilities based solely on observing others. So just because you see someone else doing something and it looks easy to you, doesn't mean that you'll be able to do the same. Now, speaking of hitting the wall, Miss Nico Cherie offers this in contrast to women hitting the wall. Now, she offers that statistically, men hit the wall at 35. So let's look at what Miss Cherie had to say. She says here that men hit a wall at 35 when they begin to lose their hair, they lose muscle mass, suffer from ED. That's not Ed, but ED. You got it, guys. Dad belly, no home ownership unless married, child support back pay, bottom row of teeth are chapped, high blood pressure, 8th grade reading level, Peter Pan syndrome, shaving facial hair to appear younger, but looking like he has cancer. Now that's a bad joke. Blank kids, bad knees, bad breath, and bad credit. Ladies, we are competing with Father Time, not other women. All right, so listen, I acknowledge the fact that Nico Cherie has a commendable sense of humor, but I harbor some reservations regarding the accuracy of this list. I invite your thoughts, gentlemen, here. I want to know what you think. Is there a consensus, that reaching 35 marks a significant turning point? I mean, is it all downhill for many of you? Now, from my observations, most black men I know were either married by this age or progressing towards marriage, devoid of issues such as a protruding belly, hypertension, joint problems, halitosis, or even financial troubles. Though I concede that a few individuals may resonate with the depiction presented, I extend a message of encouragement to any black man currently facing such challenges. I want to tell you this, guys, if you're facing such challenges, perseverance is key. You hear that? Perseverance is key. Now, there are some of us that are simply late bloomers. And you know what? It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there. Simply keep grinding until you do. You know what? You will enjoy the fruits of your labor if you continue to work to get there. Now, some may peek into this conversation and assume that I'm at odds with Nico Cherie. Let me set the record straight for those who think that way. My goal is to stir up more dialogue here to shed light on this important topic that impacts many, right? So are we only tuning in to this woman's perspective? Ladies, let me ask you that. I mean, do you find yourself listening more to people that agree with what you believe? Do you make that person then the go-to, and you only hear that person's perspective? Or will you give other voices a chance to emerge and, quite frankly, emerge from our talks, which may unlock even brighter possibilities? For instance, if one were to champion Nico Cherie's advice, would their outcome be much better than, let's say, for example, Erykah Badu? Now, I love Erykah Badu. What about Keisha Cole? Better yet, since those are older examples, this is a perfect time to pivot to a more recent story that came out a few months ago that may shed some light on what we are discussing. And I don't know if you recall, but I want you to think back and remember the buzz around Basketball Wives former star Drea Michelle and NBA star Jalen Green's unexpected baby news. Now, the plot twist here is that Drea Michelle is 39 and Jalen is 22. Go ahead, cue the gasp and applause as folks debated this intriguing age gap love story. But my question is, why wasn't the internet exploding over the Drea Michelle and Jalen Green baby bombshell? I'll tell you why. I know you want to know. Because, my friends, this is the stuff that dreams are made of for many. It is. If you don't believe me, just watch. All right, so you watched that video, and they were celebrating the baby shower, celebrating, and listen, bringing the child in is a celebratory thing. I would celebrate as well. But it is a common misconception to assume that few women envision celebrating with a significantly younger man. I think many women see themselves in this way. That is why there was not the backlash that you would expect. Contrary to this, the younger partner need not possess the wealth of a figure like Jalen Green. That's right. I don't think that it mattered that Jalen Green is a multimillionaire, because Keisha Cole's baby father, Nico Colley, was not. I don't know if anyone knows what Erykah Badu's young boyfriend does for a living, except her. Now, while this revelation may surprise some, it is a perspective worth sharing. Interestingly, many men do not object, and I want you guys to hear me close, to the idea of a woman being with a younger man. We don't object to that, as circumstances can easily be imagined where they themselves could find themselves in a similar position. Now, while this notion may unsettle some, it doesn't perturb others. The underlying issue seems to lie in the perceived, get this, double standard where society tends to scrutinize relationships involving an older man and a younger woman, while commending, those with an older woman and a younger man. You can't make it up. When you women see, come on, just be honest. When you see an older man with a younger woman, how does that make you feel? Do you totally just disregard it? Or does it trigger something in you? If you saw someone your age with a much younger woman, legal age now, let me make sure, no R. Kelly, but legal age, and you see that man that's your age with a younger woman, how does that make you feel? AB, how does that make you feel? No comment, thank you. All right. So here, I want to know your thoughts on this matter. Have you ever experienced disapproving glances from men when you are accompanied by a younger woman? Finally, is this the perfect advice for older women looking for love, romance, or just someone to spend time with of the opposite sex? All right? Is this advice for Miss Cherie the best advice? Now, this again is a perfect segue into another story that recently went viral. Now, as many of you heard, there was an interesting interview given by none other than actress, director, producer Vivica A. Fox. And this interview took the internet by storm. Now, for those who may have missed it, let's watch, all right?
I'm wanting to date.
Yeah.
It's limited resources out there, right?
Yes.
Because I'm not getting on an app.
You're just not into
I'm
it.
old-fashioned. I'm like, I need to meet you and sparks happen and stuff like that. Because I just believe people make up stories saying who and what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
And
what are you looking for at this stage, this point?
A partner.
Yeah.
And when I say a partner, I want someone that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's not intimidated by who and what I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
That likes to travel.
Yeah.
Going to let me go shopping.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm wanting to.
All right. Now that we heard what Vivica had to say, what are your thoughts? Are there any women out there who look at Vivica A. Fox as a testament to the person that you want to become? Did you look at her career, or do you look at her career with envy and admire the steps she's taken to be turning 60, and in her words, taking applications for a boyfriend? Now, at age 60, she even has requirements for her ideal mate. As she says here, he must be fun, love to travel, not intimidated by who and what I am, and lets me go shopping. And then she says she's open to all races. Now, that statement she makes about not being intimidated by who I am concerns me a bit. The reason is because there are a few thoughts on who she is. Of course, it is the thought that we have about who we are. Then, of course, there are the thoughts others have about who we are. Most of the time, they don't match. And the mere fact that she mentions this makes me believe that she thinks men see her the way she sees herself. Did you get that? See, you may look in the mirror and see a vivacious younger woman. You know, you look good for your age. You know, you like when people say that. I like when people say that. When they say I look good for my age, I say, well, thank you. That's what you want them to say. You look in the mirror, you see someone that's younger than what you actually are. But when they comment, they say, or compliment you, they say, oh, you look good for your age. There's a difference. And so there's what people think of you and what you think of yourself. Of course, I think you should feel confident in who you are. Feel confident. And I'm sure Vivica A. Fox has a great and a grand dose of confidence, maybe overconfident. But again, she says what's intimidated by who she is. Let me explain something to the women that may be listening. When you talk about men, and most I would consider men of value, right? I won't even say high value, but men of value. Most men of value are concerned as much as you think about what you do for a living. No. You know what? I wonder if there's a poll or a survey out there that would give us some numbers on the number of professional women who are single opposed to women in less professional careers that are single. I think the answer would be shocking, because most men of value, it's not about what you do as much as it is how you treat that man. And oftentimes you find that a lot of professional women, not all, find men who, they want men on their level, but the men that may be on their level may not be checking for them. And so what do you do? Well, if you're like Vivica A. Fox, you just pursue the career, you wait till you are about 59 and 60, and then you say, you know what? I'm looking for a boyfriend at 59. Good luck to Vivica. Shout out to Vivica A. Fox. Tag her in this, if you will. Maybe she'll have some great things to say about me too. Now, let me ask the fellas here. Do you think she's all that? Because she seems to think that she is. Let me first say that no one looks the same as they age. So for me, I see a woman who may have had some cosmetic surgery to help her to look young, and I totally understand that for her profession. But you know what? I think she looks fine. However, I need to add that most young men would not look at an almost 60-year-old divorced single woman the same as they would look at someone either younger than they are or at least the same age. I'm just saying. Not too many years ago, wasn't it Vivica A. Fox that made the callous remarks about the legendary podcaster Kevin Samuels? Now, in his death, she made some very careless and cold remarks. And I didn't quite understand then why she would make such comments, but you know what? I do understand it now. And this may help explain it. Let's watch.
Broke. They're broke with flaky jobs and no real future. See, you think I'm being harsh. It's because it's softening words like this that have lulled you to sleep, to let you think that, yeah, I don't need no man. Oh, you need a man. You need a man like you never knew before, because
winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Means they're broke.
All right. Now, you saw that video by the late Kevin Samuels. So is it possible that Vivica felt offended by Kevin Samuels due to his almost prophetic manner of discussing her future? Consider this. Every Sunday, countless individuals gather in churches worldwide where they may hear challenging messages that initially seem offensive. However, instead of reacting defensively, a wise individual would reflect on these messages for their potential wisdom. Instead, Vivica, akin to many women sharing her perspective, refuted this notion. But had they attentively considered his perspective instead of disregarding it, many individuals might have avoided their current predicament. Now, while it may be arguable that she currently holds a more favorable position than the late Kevin Samuels, comparing one's present circumstances to those of a deceased individual inherently suggests a loss in life's perspective. Nonetheless, facing defeat in a specific instance does not equate to overall failure. So what I'm saying here is that it is never too late to pivot and redirect your path. Taking a few steps in the right direction can rectify your challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, It is widely acknowledged that relationships pose challenges, and the quest to discover a compatible partner can be even more arduous. But Frank Talks After Dark aims to facilitate this process and offer support as relationships unfold. Although I do not claim expertise in relationships, I aspire to evolve alongside you, nurturing the potential for richer, more fulfilling connections. To conclude, drawing wisdom from a revered figure in relationships, Kevin Samuels, often regarded as an authority in the field, once said, and I quote, "We have gotten to the point where we don't know how to relate to each other. We know how to swipe left, swipe right, hook up, and get on." Now, I will say that he was just as right about it then as he is now. I hope to change that, however, one show at a time. That's all I have. Good night, and thank you for watching Frank Talks After Dark.
Bye.